but it still doesn't mean that it's like, hooray, come death now, come death today. No, I don't know. That's no, thank you. I'm good.
I got some life left to live here.
I feel like I got plenty.
Yeah.
I still
got
have a
some
lot of
stuff
things
I want to do.
All right. We like to start every episode with a proverb. Why do we want to do that? I think this is important. I don't know when the last time we broke this down was, so I wanted to do it. We think that Proverbs is a formula towards a better life. And also, I think, and we didn't even talk about this, but here we are.
Discussing.
I think that Proverbs are meant to be digested. Each one is individually, and the way that we do it specifically, where we just take a single proverb. Usually when you read a book, you're reading the whole book, and you start at the beginning and you read your way through, and it tells you a story, and then you get to the end, and then you find out the conclusion, and you've kind of had all these components of a story. I don't think that's the way you're supposed to read Proverbs. I think you're supposed to take a proverb and let it resonate and dwell inside of you and see where you connect into it and see where it applies to life. And you're supposed to like sit on a single proverb and the magnitude of your conclusion you draw from it.
Yeah. I mean, Proverbs, even reading a full chapter, like there's 31 chapters, right? So you can read a full chapter a day, but you could even just take one.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
That's why we do that.
You could read
here.
one verse a day and go, okay, what can I draw from that?
Hey, thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Every time you do that, it helps us move our show forward.
Your interaction helps us expand our mission. So thank you for joining us.
Now back to the show. Write it down, put it in your pocket, pull it out throughout the day, take a look at it. Wow.
Meditate on it.
And meditate on it. And let it like impact you. Let it change your day. Let it define your day. And I think you'll find that we've said this before, but so many of these are just truisms. They're just truth. And these were written 3,500 years ago. I mean, that's unfathomable. We throw around numbers frequently, but like, that is really incredible.
And it's still applicable today.
That's the whole point, is it's not just applicable. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be in any way, shape, or form a spiritual individual and to hear it and have it make sense. And specifically, I think today does.
Yeah.
Most of these do. Some of them do dwell in a place of a little more. It takes a little more to get there.
You have to be spiritually driven to take in some of them and for them to be applicable and meaningful to you. For sure, there has to be a bend towards spirituality.
Or at least to understand the language a little better.
Yeah.
I think by the time if you were to take even the most ambiguous ones, and then find out what the ambiguous language means, I think you would still find that there is some application in your life. And I think that's how it is throughout the entirety of these Proverbs. So I wanted to unpack that again because we haven't done that in a while.
That's good. I think
Why
that's
do we
helpful
do
for
these?
people. Yeah.
So today's proverb, Proverbs 11:7. When the wicked dies, his hope perishes, and the expectation of wealth gains nothing. Proverbs 11:7. When the wicked dies, his hope perishes, and the expectation of wealth gains nothing.
To clarify, so when we talk about what you were just saying there, so some of the language that gets used here, so when they use, like, for instance, the word wicked,
Yeah.
right? What they're meaning is a person who has lived a life marked by moral wrongdoing. And so that's when we say, when the Bible says wickedness, it's your morality is off, or it is different than what the Bible would teach you on how to live a moral life. Again, to be clear, we say this a lot. My goodness is not what gets me to Jesus, but there is an expectation that when I choose Jesus, that my life is marked by
The fruit.
And so that's what, to separate what the wicked would be, is somebody who is choosing to live different than what the Bible's guidelines are for how a follower of Christ is to live. But what the tie to that is that the expectation of wealth gains nothing. We just talked about this, our last podcast, was the materialism.
Yes.
Like, it's the chasing after. Like, if I can just gain enough of this, then I will have lived the life that I'm supposed to live. And at the end of it all, I've gained nothing from it. So what did it do? How did it help me in my life? At the end of all of it, if my eternity isn't changed by it.
If you believe in eternity.
Right.
We do.
Yes.
But even if you don't, we talked about how the accumulation of this wealth in the form of the guy who owned Apple, what was his name?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. He still died. He had $10 billion. He had more money than he could ever spend in his lifetime, and he still died of cancer at 56. So relatively very young. So it doesn't
I'm sure
buy you eternity.
Had the
point.
top doctors and the top everything with that money.
Right.
And still
Didn't matter.
nothing.
Right. So all that money, all that accumulation of wealth, he still ended up where you're going to end up and where I'm going to end up. And where, that's the thing. The oldest person in America is 114. That's the oldest person in America right now. Everyone that person knew that was even a second older than them is dead.
Gone.
I mean, that is a stark reality. And sometimes that's hard to swallow. You know me. I'm not into talking about death. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. I've had a harder time with it in life. I have an easier time with it now.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't mean that it's like, hooray, come death now, come death today. No, I don't know. That's no, thank you. I'm good.
I got some life left to live here.
I feel like I got plenty.
Yeah.
I still
got
have a lot of
stuff
things
I want to
I'm
do.
doing. All right. So, but that is the reality. I wrote, all of our days are numbered. Clearly, that's what I'm stating, is that all of our days are numbered, but I believe that we are eternal creatures. But the question is, and that's what this thing is pitching, and the expectation of wealth gains nothing. And there's kind of like a ... at the end, because what it's doing is it's teasing eternity. So what's next?
That's the question. What's next? And that's the question we want to try to answer here today.